Sure. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll call the meeting to order. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve today's agenda, December 19th, 2023.
I'll second that.
You got a motion and a second, all in favor?
All right. I will make a motion to approve the minutes for December 12th, 2023.
And I'll second that. Okay, got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, meetings attended. What have you got, Sean?
Nothing that I know of. I'm and some stuff, but it wasn't important to talk about. We did get Joe's resignation from the Board of Health. I think everybody else got that as well. So Selena said she put something in the paper for 2 weeks to try to get someone else to serve. So that's all I got.
Okay, what have you got, Brad? Had an EMA meeting. We worked on the budget. Let's see. Wednesday, December 15th. There's all the stuff in EMA. Everything's pretty much done on that for budget. Just need to plug in some numbers at the end. I went to the planning and zoning meeting, didn't have enough numbers there to make a quorum. So they're going to meet again in January, and I guess we was one short. So we got another one come up for 23, 2 of them for 23. So we'll get a hold of Becky and make sure she's interested. She was there. And let's make sure she wants to continue. Not. We'll find that out. And then I guess we're too short on a board adjustment. Brian was telling me on that, so we need to go through that, get them filled up. It's our bad. I didn't realize it was too short. And get that going. Concrete's done out there. Next, I think it's right after Christmas, we're going to pour the back wall inside the that's the plan anyway. Don't make no matter how cold it gets, we can blanket it. We'll use hot water. So get that done, and then we'll be done with our remodeling for a while out there at the transfer station. We had a conservation meeting. What day was that?
It was December 4th, I believe. Friday.
Or other one we had Friday, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, Friday at 5:30. And what we're going to do is make Atlanta interim director till we look at maybe right after the first year, start getting some ads out, start looking. So we're working on that, and I think that was everything. That it? I think that's it. Okay, I started out last Wednesday at Russ. Business as usual. There's a individual wants us to hook up the sewer again at the Argyle ballpark. They're in the process of renovating it. So once they pay some back penalties, they'll get that done. A lot of discussion with this budget. The state's 3.5% budget and what other counties are doing and what their compensations board's done. And a lot of counties are going to try to meet the 3.5% and going to do some very significant cuts. So especially Lee and Hendrick. So I don't know what we're going to have to really maybe call the department heads in and have a meeting about that. We've done some forecasting, but I don't know what to do here. It's things we've never had to deal with before. You know, the state's kind of limiting our growth on our budgets by 3.5%, but yet the compensation board wants to give our employees 15%. So that just kind of, someone's going to have to be unhappy. We follow those state guidelines this year.
Now, is the state leaning toward maybe going to 3.9 first before they go to 3.6, or is they still thinking 3.6?
Well, we have 4 years to get to the 3.5. Henry County is going to do it in 2 years. They're going to try to do some this year and some next year.
That probably make the best sense.
And Keokuk County is trying to do it all at once, and Lee County too. That's something for future discussion. Then I went last Friday to South Iowa Area Detention Service and then South Iowa Area Crime Commission. The employees got a 3.5% by the vote of the board, but it was it was only 1 vote difference. So that's what's going on in the rest of the world. Do we have any input from the public?
I'd like to request that number 8 that we discuss it if you want, table any action, because none of those names have been released, and I'd like to just have you table it to the next meeting, and then I'd still give you time to make the appointments, and at least then public has a chance to know who they are and respond to that if they wish.
Well, we've got it on our agenda to do it today. I mean, we're not breaking any rules by doing it.
Correct.
We'll see what we decide at that time.
Yeah, I just think the public has a right to know who they are before you make the appointment, if there is more than one, which I assume there is.
Well, there's a ruling. Did you guys get that stuff to you from Adam? Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you see it?
yeah, I saw it, and he's talking about employees. You certainly don't consider non-compensated volunteers to be employees.
But you can only see their application if they
Agree
give you
to
permission.
I'm asking you though, do you consider non-compensated volunteers to be employees of the county? I'm asking you guys, not Adam.
I think that the person that does the application has the right to say that if they want you to see it or not, put it for us.
Do they have the right to not have their names?
I'm looking for Adams.
Well, then if you go back, do you consider them to be non-compensated volunteers to be employees?
They're appointed so by the supervisors, so I would say that
They're appointed to do what's best interest of the county.
So I think
You're not answering the question though, I guess. I mean, Adam, Adam seems to say that they're non-compensated volunteers, they're employees. Do you guys feel that way? You don't have to agree with that, do you?
Well, he's our legal counsel. He's kind of kept us out of jail for all these years, so
do
kind of
you
like
agree that they're non-compensated volunteers? And
why don't you direct that question at him?
I guess I want to know.
I've never been in law school.
I want to know your opinions.
Go to our lawyer. If you're going to put us to that question, that's who's made the decision. So
you agree with that?
Sure I do.
No. Why wouldn't I? I'm going to disagree with in that regard.
But
I'm going to go.
Why is this all of a sudden an issue? We've never had.
I just wanted to know the names of the people, and that's what happened.
We haven't seen them.
But then I think the public has a right to know, and all I'm asking is that
Public doesn't make the decision on
This group makes the decision.
is appointed.
Yeah, I'm just asking you to make the decision next week instead of this week.
So well, we can discuss that when we get down that one.
When we get to that point. Okay, there's no payroll changes. Okay, we come to number 8. Here's these 3 envelopes that have been looking like those dogs sealed in an old mayonnaise jar. Let's look at them.
Chris, did we need to ask Bill or the young gentleman in the front if they had any input for us? No? Okay.
Yeah, I'd ask for public input.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So here's a.
I'm missing one of that.
Yes. But you haven't seen that one.
I saw that when I opened that.
That one. I haven't seen it. That one. Yeah. Oh, we have 3 excellent candidates here. What is the thoughts of the rest of the board as far as appointing one of them today?
Can I ask a question? Which person is this? What position is this one filling?
This one here is 2 positions, we're renewing one. If one is coming up to due for the end of December, and the other one would be Sam.
Okay, so we're gonna take 2 out of this 3, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I would say if we're gonna do appointments.
My personal opinion is I think we accept one. I don't particularly want to fill Sam's position until the court cases been resolved. I don't want to do anything until that's resolved, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm torn on that one too.
I know you're going with a short board and I understand that, but I would like to see that problem, if that, what you're gonna call it, I'd like to see that resolved. before you move forward. Because I don't want to take somebody, if for some reason they want to put sand back on, I don't want to see you have to remove somebody. And who do you remove? You put names in a hat? I don't want to be that person. But I'm one vote, so.
Well. But then there's another part of me, the case is in September.
Yeah.
If he'd get reinstated, you'd have 2 months till his term's up. I don't know, it's hard to.
I understand that.
But I'll lean like you, I think we should appoint one to.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And
Is Joe's the one that's coming up?
yeah,
Okay.
she's up for a reappointment.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I can make it public, but our candidates are Joel and Sean's, Sue Vogler, and Randy Schlutz, and they've all got excellent conservation backgrounds. You can draw all 3 names out of the hat and they'd be good board members. But with I would start it by saying I'd like to see Joellen finish what she started.
Yep, I'll make that motion to reappoint her. She is interested in getting back on the board.
Well, if we're still in discussion, that's fine. I had one of those individuals approach me directly. Sue came to me directly and was very interested as well. And I think her and Dan have worked really hard with conservation in their properties too. So I think she would be a good replacement as well.
I mean,
I know you did. We were in discussion, so I wanted to make sure that.
Right. So we have a motion. Do we have a second for Joellen?
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion second. Any more discussion?
That's the hard part when you got a 3-member board.
Yeah. Someone's gonna be the odd guy out.
Yeah, I don't have anything against Joanne. I think Randy would do a good job too, so.
Yep. All 3 of them are very good candidates. I want to thank them for that.
I would hope that those 2 other individuals would put their applications in when and if September comes around and something changes. I think they would make a good fit as well.
Yeah. So we've got a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
So that is done. Okay, review Leland McCoysh and Leroy Meyer award nominating letter.
Is this one of the gentlemen here? Are you one of those people?
no.
No?
This is an award
Southeast
that Southeast Regional
okay.
Planning likes.
It's not anybody, it's named after 2 people that was.
Oh,
outstanding
okay,
in
all right.
communities.
And it's,
They do this every year?
yes,
Okay.
usually they don't solicit this hard. For nominations for this.
Usually they do it with just the.
It's usually done with the board, they don't come out to this board.
Oh, okay.
I'll let everybody review that. If anybody comes up with any ideas, I think the Oakville mayor has got this award in the past. I'm trying to think of a few from around here that.
There's some on there, Tommy Thompson.
There's not a list.
Okay. But it's past mayors and. And we have more on the Morning Sun. You done with that?
Yeah, I'm done.
Here's more information on answering our questions with the Morning Sun ambulances. Sending checks. Think there's 3 packets.
Yeah.
But there's a couple years, different years.
So I was on a ambulance run last week and had some discussion with Matt Delfell.
Did they give those same
About that.
incentives?
And just so you know, Morning Sun does not pay on call like Wapello does. So any volunteers that are on call for Wapello get paid $2.75 an hour, I think it is. And then they get paid per run if they have to make a run to the ambulance. Morning Sun does not do that. They only pay per run. So when you step back and kind of look at that, I was kind of banging on the table last week about it. But once you look at it in that regard, I guess I kind of understand it a little more. I wish they would word it a little different, maybe. It just when you come up with bonus, it just looks like you're throwing money at people that you have extra money laying around.
Correct.
So I don't know what you call it, but
So what's the hours represent? And if you're gonna go by that argument, what's the hours represent also too, when they have hours down on end, like on incentives, they don't have them, but they do on the other ones?
my assumption is that's the time that's spent in the ambulance.
Oh, I
to the
agree with
call
that,
or
but
to the
their pay rate is so. There's some that's getting $20 an hour. There's some that's getting $380 an hour.
some may be just drivers and have the qualifications, some might be paramedics, and then you got level EMT and
Well, we know there's no paramedics over there.
and then you got a director, which the director always feels like he needs to be paid more.
I think to make this fair, I think they need to mimic the exact same thing that other communities are doing, because this is not kosher to have.
It looks,
It looks,
I know what it looks like on the surface, and I'm not arguing that point.
how hard would it be to do pay as you go?
I don't disagree with that.
Because everybody else does.
Yeah.
And with its taxpayers are giving money to the
It's got a strange smell to it. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Well, we're allowed to discuss this. with them.
Yeah. We'll reach out to Tom and just say, hey, I can't tell him how to run his business.
Well,
But being he's using taxpayers.
yeah, we can, Bill.
Can we try to pay everybody up front? This is it, we
Oh.
just got a copy.
Pay as we go.
Pay as we go, or it looks. A little or smells better.
Well, when and if this whole thing changes with the tax going through, if it goes through, then we need to have a pretty good discussion on how those funds are going to be handled too. My personal feeling is that it's kind of a money here in the county and they have to send in receipts for reimbursement for equipment or fuel or whatever. I'm not real keen on just
I would think the
handing
structure-
money out for no particular reason.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think it's gonna have to be more county oversight.
I don't disagree with that. And this is part of that oversight here a little bit on how it's structured and how it's run. And there has to be some accountability here,
Mhm.
not a free for all. And we got a lot of discussions and talk to how to handle that.
Even if they're doing it correct, it's the appearance of
I know,
not being right.
I know.
I don't like that.
I don't either.
County money, so.
I don't either. Okay.
Okay, now. Another 11 is discuss holding a special election in March of 2024 for the EMS.
So I think Susan's here, but we had the three of us had a discussion in the office the other day. Columbus Junction School is having an election in March for their, help me, Pebble.
Yeah.
They had a board meeting last night. I don't know what the final verdict was of that, so I'd like to find that out before we make a final.
They kind of indicated they didn't really want maybe us on with them, but they don't really have a whole lot to say so in that matter. But I get it when you're going to taxpayers and asking them for taxes, you know, it's not, taxes is a 4-letter word, right? But I was not for a special election all by ourselves. I didn't want to fund that just for this particular thing. However, if we can piggyback with something else and share some of those costs, I think that that's a more responsible way of approaching this for a vote. So I guess we'll have to wait until you get some information.
Yeah, they had a meeting last night, so as soon as Neil can call me.
I mean, for the school, they're not seeing any added tax. It's just extending what's already there. So I mean, that's.
We'll have 3 precincts open, so there'll be the 2 years, we'll have to pay the full price on.
And for ours, really, the general fund is providing some assistance to the ambulance services anyway, $100,000 a year. So if the tax goes through, that money goes back to the general fund, and then it's on a separate tax. So I'm not going to go so far to say it's a wash, but kinda. So that's some of the information that we have to get out to the citizens, is that we're not really adding a lot of tax here. We're just
specifying.
Right. And the money's not coming out of the general fund to help an ambulance service. It's got its own category now, I guess is the best way to say it.
So let's table that for a week.
Good. Yeah.
We need a motion to table it, I think. Does someone want to make?
I'll make the motion to table the discussion or action to hold a special election for EMS public measure in March.
Second. Okay, a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
So we'll hold that till the next week.
Okay.
Okay, we've got the Columbus Junction ambulance to review, but Adam, we get yours in before 9:15, can't we?
Yeah. Perfect. So.
You got 20 minutes to baffle us.
One minute stop with you, so okay. Well, maintenance, we're doing some tree work, getting a few out and in culvert driveways and things like that. Taken care of. Looks like weather's gonna warm up a little bit, so we get back out to treeing a little bit this week. Obviously we'll be out. A bunch of guys will be gone Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, so we'll not gonna make a lot of progress. We have been using this skid loader off and on to clean out box culverts, and after that we're gonna switch heads and do some brush clearing and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we're doing there. Mike and Justin and I went to the county engineers conference and learned some things about bridges and reporting changes and all those kind of things that's going to affect us, I guess, as a county. That's going on there. Something else. I have not got those. The DOT was supposed to get me some updated maps and things like that for their project, but they haven't done it yet. I just checked with them this morning, and they're making sure things are accurate before they get them out to us. So I don't know if they kind of know that these things get out to public and it affects people, so they probably want to make sure everything's right. Maybe not like a plan set where there's an actual engineering stamp on them, but they just want to make sure that the information they're putting out is they know it's getting more critical. I've had people ask me about specific houses and properties, and I don't know even yet. So that's fine. Questions about any of that?
No, I'm anxious to see their maps when they get us
Mhm.
a fresh batch to share with the public.
Okay. I want to kind of kick off some just preliminary budget things, if you guys got a few minutes to talk about.
Sure.
No, yeah, I know it isn't until January, but I want to kind of make some points here, I guess. So typically our funding is based upon valuations, right? That we get the minimum amount based on valuations. I'm bad, I apologize for not giving you got the color one, but I just forgotten printing them out. So looking at our valuations in the formula, I predict our minimum county tax dollars is going to go up about 40,000. Looking at the formula, that's the minimum you can give us, and that's what you've always done. I also have numbers up from the DOT. Our expected road use fuel tax was about 60 grand. So we're looking next year 100 to 105,000 more dollars if we can. And that sounds great, but our wages are going up 140,000. And our rent is going to go up 50,000. So the continued
What sounded good doesn't sound good
and all that.
Yeah.
So I put this together basically since 2019 is kind of when I wasn't in charge, but I kind of was aware of things and had some say in it. Plus we've got numbers back then, but generally our revenues have gone up about that 2% every year. And that is every year averaging it out, right? Our expenses have gone up about 5%. If you look at that top line, the one is what total roadway maintenance costs, right? That's cost of rock, personnel, crack repairs, bridge repairs, everything except for construction. That top line that does that, and that blue line I drew on there, which I'm glad Brad is yours is going to be that black line. That's the average over time, right? So some years it's more, some years it's less. You look at 2023, we had that deal with the truck, right? That line should have been up a little bit, and this year's down, but so this shows our trends in expenses and trends in revenues. We can also look on 23 and 24. We had the big jump up of rock. Rock went up $130,000. Personnel went up 140. That jumped our baseline up about $300,000 there. So if you take 5% of that, right, the number gets bigger every year. And we're getting to the point where our basic maintenance expenses are more than our revenues. And we've always talked it's okay to take from our audited balance for construction, right? To build things to like that. But we're getting about to a point where our just maintenance, putting rock on the road, is going to take away from our auditor's balance. So I'm not making any requests now, but it's at that point I just want to give you a heads up that it's some point during this budget process I'm going to ask for some extra money. I know it's a very tough year, and you guys have bad decisions to make, but I didn't want to ask you on January 10th, right? Because we're already into the process.
Have we ever bid gravel before to other quarries?
Well,
We can't continue to have these increases every year without an explanation what it is. I mean, just because everybody else is doing it will make it a reason to do it. Is there fuel up? Is the rock up? What's up?
yeah, they say their cost of labor and their cost of fuel is up, and that's the entire River Products company. I've actually taken rock away from them because we bid out to Nelson, And Nelson's has stayed flat, but River Products is catching up.
Yeah.
The problem for our county is Nelson is so far south that we can't haul it up to Junction. I mean, the math on it doesn't work. We've kind of, so we in the past we've been hauling about 75,000 tons. This year we budgeted for that, but I'm only going to let them haul 71,000, right? I'm cutting them back to try to keep that number lower.
But that's an artificial need, because you actually need more rock than that. You're just holding that to keep it in budget.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really not doing as much as what we normally did.
Right.
So to me, if you've got an artificial number, is it better to bid, go out to other quarries? Somehow you got to keep them intact to see where they're at. And I know it's cheaper if we haul it, but if we have to go a distance back and forth, wouldn't it still be cheaper for us to reach out further?
From talking to our neighbors, right, the only feasible local quarries are Nelson, and then there's L&W, right, and they're already buck an extra ton than our other two ones are. Up to the north, you'd have to go up to Moscow or Iowa City. From my studies, the cost to pay somebody to haul it is more than the cost would be from us. So
how about quality of the rock? Because the state, it seems like the state always hauls from Moscow on certain type of applications.
Well, actually, talking to the Muscatine County engineers, you know, I got friends there and family that works there and all that, and they've had kind of a peeing match with them because their rock hasn't been good. So they've been going up to Iowa City, up to the Ernst quarry east of town there, and getting it there and all that. So, yeah, there's just not a lot of. I mean, I will continue, but to do that. But I, you can save a little bit on the margins, I guess. But
yeah, I just hate to cut back the stay-in budget if there's another alternative to getting rock. And then I know there's so many different classifications, like we're in a soft lime rock here. And are we gaining, it creates more dust in the road, it breaks down quicker? Are we getting it? Is it better to go to a harder? Pay a little bit more.
I remember you'd asked that last year, and I talked to River Products about one with their concrete stone, which is a harder classification. And they told me every single spoonful of it is bought by Ideal already, that they have a agreement with Ideal that they buy it all. So they can't sell anymore, and if they did, it'd be at $4 or $5 extra, which tells me that they obviously don't want to do it and all that. I can check into that and see what comes up.
We got to do something.
Yeah. So
it's not your fault, but it's a deal that we're into, and it seems like it's a funnel.
So anyway, I guess we'll need to continue to talk about this. I guess we've talked in the past, about potential for a sales tax to go over projects or whatever. I know in the written language it says emergency vehicles. Could you consider a dump truck an emergency vehicle? I don't know. That's things I'm
You're just planting the seed here.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask it for. So, yes, at the end of the day, if something can happen, I mean, it would probably, look at staff reductions or work crew reductions, stuff like that. And I think everybody's happy with the amount of work that we've been getting done, right? That you guys like this. I think the public likes it. And always looking at things on the construction end to limit those expenses as well. But we've I've always talked every time I've done budget that we need to have a little extra so that we can do construction projects. You know, we got some bridges that just have to be fixed and all that, right?
Yeah, our list of bridges doesn't get smaller.
No, smaller. I did meet with our bridge consultant yesterday actually, and in our annual thing, I mean, there's no huge bridges that need to be fixed, but there's, you know, got a lot of them small gravel road ones. Got one I'm gonna do a tank car, just rip out the bridge and put in tank cars. We have a couple that have some bad piles, and I'm gonna hire a concrete contractor, and we're gonna kind of reface those walls and things like that. So we're always looking at ways to keep those costs down, but there's some forces outside of our control.
Right.
So anyway, I just wanted to bring it up and give you guys some numbers. I know we'll get to all this after Christmas, I guess. Or we're actually meeting Tuesday after Christmas and Tuesday after. Okay. So yeah, I'm in anyway. That Terry's off, so I'm covered for him. So
Has any county ever went together and bought materials as one?
There was a, maybe it was when Larry was here when I was first here, there was a talk. So up north, they have some excess materials, and they talked about bringing it down on a train and unloading in Washington and hauling it. And by the time you did all the math, it's about the same as ours. You know, by the time you get there and unload it and truck it over and all that, it's just, yeah. I don't know. I will talk to River Products again though about the harder material and all that.
And also too, I wonder if we can somehow work out maybe a long-term contract to stop these 5%, 8% every year coming that we can do instead of doing it a yearly. See what we can do long-term to slow this aggression down, because we can't afford to keep continuing doing what we're doing. So
yeah, you know, this year's increase was up 5%. So you had $1 million times 5%, 50,000 a year. Yeah, and you know, with the valuation distribution, had a pretty good year. Our valuations are about 5%, but 5% of a smaller number is less than a 5% of a bigger number. So
yeah, and remember last year we went out and bought gravel from somebody else just to beat their increase. Yeah, or bought it from them, but we beat their increase. We had to have it all hauled prior to March something, and
yeah.
So
I think
Groundhog Day again.
I think it, you know, eventually in the future, you know, we'll probably look into buying a semi or two and hauling, you know, getting our own guys and hauling. Well, there's lots of tonnages and all that. You know, I know Des Moines, Muscatine, Washington County all have semi trucks, and those semi truck guys haul about 24,000 tons a year, which is a lot of hauling. But that's kind of what they do to minimize the equipment, minimize and all that. So, oh, anyway.
But a semi don't push snow, but snows too.
No,
we
always have to have 8 trucks here to push snow as well. So, all right, any questions for me or anything?
No, thanks for the Christmas present.
Would have done all last week, but I didn't have all the numbers. So
okay. Well, when you get some updated DOT maps.
Yep. Hopefully next week. But it's also holidays too, so they're gonna use one. Well, yeah, okay.
No, thanks for your update, Adam.
Thanks.
Yep.
Well, Danny and Lan, where I suppose really you.
We conservation has our summer positions posted now. They've gone live on Lake County Parks and on our website. So we're hiring 5 seasonal positions. One will be the 6-month maintenance technician. Then we'll have 2 of the summer maintenance technicians that do mostly mowing. And then we'll have 2 of our environmental education interns. Those positions we have set to close on February 1st, so that hopefully we can kind of have everybody locked in before their end of the school semesters. So feel free to let anybody and everybody know if they're interested in working for us seasonally. All of our positions this year, you do need to be at least 18 years old or older, because of the equipment requirements for these jobs. We're excited for those 2 summer naturalist interns. We're hoping to see some more countywide programming, so you can expect more at our libraries, at summer schools, at the campgrounds, and then hopefully at the county fair because of those 2 seasonal positions. I wanted to share that the Soil and Water Conservation District purchased us a very nice portable string table that isn't here yet, but we're hoping to see some use out of that when it does arrive, for middle school, high school soil and water conservation programs, and then hopefully we can use it this summer as well. But I wanted to publicly thank Soil and Water Conservation District for supporting our education that we do. On the other side of things, this winter I do know that they're still going to be doing the timber stand improvement out at Virginia Grove. Last I heard, equipment was being staged out there, but I don't think they've started work, and I know they're going to let Noah know when they do, so that we can make announcements regarding any hunters that might be in the area to make sure that everybody is staying safe there. And then they're going to be finishing work at the Chinkapin Bluffs Recreation Area Shelter, and we're going to dream up some plans for the new overlook at Chinkapin Bluffs, and hopefully do an environmental education component so that we can utilize some extra funding for that. We did go to the District 5 meeting, which is kind of the Southeast Iowa County Conservation staff meeting, and it was at Mar Park in Washington. And so we, along with that 3.5% discussion, were kind of sharing with all of the counties how the county conservation boards are approaching that 3.5% challenge, and hearing again, like you were saying, from Lee County, Henry County, some people are more into their plans than others. So
Yeah,
it was just good to, hear how everybody else was approaching it, and making some good contacts for, maybe putting our heads together to figure out ways to address that within the county conservation board. Everybody's in the same boat, so everybody's figuring it out together. I don't have any other, again, it's winter, we're waiting to see of the director search. And do you have any questions? Thank you.
thank you. Good luck with your seasonal employees.
Yes. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I know that we'll be going to the L&M always has a job fair, so we'll be going there and hope to get some applicants that way.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good. Thank you,
Yep,
guys.
thank you.
Hey, Columbus Junction ambulance papers. Sean,
Got that.
did you get them looked over? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Review and possible action regarding letter from Sycamore Media. Oh, what's that on? They must want us to be, since they've joined, that should save us quite a bit of expense as far as.
Morning sun.
Yeah.
The Waplo morning sun.
Probably save us what, 3,000 or 4,000 maybe.
Yeah.
10 or 15.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to make Waplo Morning Sun an official county newspaper.
Second that. Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. What we just did.
Nice evening, Bills. Please.
Yeah. You know, bonuses, they have. 53,313 of uncollected. Still, huh? That's means. The writing numbers that actually money. Yeah, see, Columbus does the wages, part-time too, they do, as they're also. Right. Well.
It just look a lot better at the end of the year instead of just throwing a bunch of money at somebody. Argument there.
Is there another list of claims or?
Money list.
Or.
What's mine?
You're gonna put like.
More claims. Yeah, this one done.
Shot right up with. I do like how they got their call. They got 51 calls, and then they got like 27 routine transports, 27, and then 11 emergency transports, 8 refusals. Prior to arrival cancels 3, transfers 2. Well, how you doing? Very well.
Thanks would be to unmute Bobby and start her. Hers. Somebody must be running late.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Bobby. Can you hear us?
Hi, Bobby.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
We're ready whenever you're ready, Bobby.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll get started then. I'll give you a quick overview. I feel like I haven't been there for a while, but I probably have limited information to give you, let you know a little bit about what's been going on. Since September, I guess, the last time I was with you guys.
Nope.
Right now we've been finishing up like our old annual reviews for both of the regions. So the merger has been completed between SEAL and South Central Behavioral Health region. So we are now the region of Mahasi is what we call ourselves, the Mental Health Agency of Southeast Iowa with 13 counties. We had been working on an updated management plan, and that's been completed and submitted. It went through HHS and also went through the commission this month. So that has been approved as of December 7th, I believe. So with that updated management plan, we streamlined some of our policy and procedures. There will be some changes in process administratively and job duties between all of us to efficiently use the staff that we have. Cindy will continue to do claims processing for us. She does a lot of claims entry for the region, and she'll continue to do that while my job duties will change. I will no longer be part of the finance committee and working in the claims department, but more on the eligibility side and policy, procedures, and contracting. So we've been working a lot on just developing new policy and procedures internally that we will be operating within. So another big thing was we had received approval to maintain some funds last year for startup for some additional services that we were already in the planning process to stand up, which was our mobile crisis response units. DHS did approve that, or HHS did approve that for us. So we had funds available to carry over, and we have implemented mobile crisis response region-wide across all 13 counties. We have 2 different providers who are providing that service for us. South Central Behavioral Health is providing that on the western part of our region, and Elevate is our provider on the eastern side and covers Louisa. And they have been instrumental in attending our meetings, especially like our CIT meetings with law enforcement, and educating them on the process, how to utilize that service, when it's appropriate to utilize the service, and just being an additional resource for law enforcement, which I think is really critical for Louisa County, being that there is no hospital to access there locally. So they attend all of our CIT meetings. We do have another one tomorrow. And we've been not only having Elevate, our mobile crisis response provider there, but also having Optime, who does our 24/7 assessments, as well as Hillcrest, who provides our integrated health home care coordination, and our mental health advocates are there, and we have several other providers as well. So we have a pretty good group attending those CIT meetings in Louisa. So hopefully we're getting the information out on how to utilize this new service. Louisa has had several calls. So we have been successful in getting the word out. I think a lot of the calls may not necessarily come from law enforcement. And that's a good thing, because we want people in the community to be able to utilize that service as well. So I think what we're seeing is a little bit over half of the calls that are coming through mobile crisis response are actually from people in the community. But we do have law enforcement also asking that to support the officers that are in the field. So do you have any questions about that service? Okay.
No.
All right. Another big thing that is happening in Iowa right now is HHS has put out a RFP for CCBHCs. which are certified community behavioral health centers. The hope is that they're supposed to be awarding those contracts out, I believe, in January. And they would like those providers to stand up July 1st. So those CCBHCs are required to cover particular services in Iowa. 9 of the required services would be like screening and assessment, diagnosis, comprehensive outpatient behavioral health services, patient-centered planning, case management, peer and family support, psychiatric rehabilitation, medical screening and monitoring, mobile crisis, as well as services for armed forces and veterans. So there are many, these are the required services, but there are many, I guess, other requirements that they have to meet. There's like 119, I believe, of them. It's a lot of responsibility for these CCBHCs, and they are able to design a system that not only they provide the services, but they can contract with designated collaborative organizations, is what they call them, DCOs, to provide up to 49% of those services so that they can ensure the service coverage in all of the areas that they're required to. So that is something new Iowa has actually been working on for several years, and now they're in the phase of trying to stand up these CCBHCs. And we will just have to see how that plays into the service system, how we work and partner together with them as regions with the non-Medicaid dollars. We have 2 providers, I believe, in our region who have put in, have applied to be a CCBHC. They work together in that process. So when they did it, one provider had requested a certain number of counties and the other provider had requested the other set of counties in our region. So they're working collaboratively on this effort, and we have been part of those discussions. And we are also attending those meetings so that we can learn how we can work together with those CCBHCs once they're stood up, because it will modify the way in which we contract as well with our providers and how we fit our services in with those CCBHCs. Because some of the services that we contract for now will be incorporated into those entities as part of their service requirements. So that's kind of the new thing coming down the pike. You know, we talk about it at all of our meetings with our providers, just trying to keep people abreast on what's going on and letting them know that we're keeping a close eye on it and are partnering with our providers through this process. Let's see. I don't know if you have heard, but one of the big things that we are talking with legislators about is they have reviewed the number of committees that they have in the state of Iowa. Have you heard a lot about this? And they're reducing the number of committees that are available.
Yes.
Okay. So there were like, I want to say there was 256 committees in Iowa, and they are looking at reducing that number by 43%. So there are a lot of concerns about the elimination of these boards who advise, you know, they provide advisory to the specific committee, I guess, reviews that they complete. So there's a lot of concern about the people at the local level and the people who are sitting on those boards to be able to provide and advise HHS in the programs in which they're administering. So we've been advocating pretty heavily about that because there are some concerns that our voice will be lost. not only in the children's system, but in the adult system.
It will be.
So there's supposed to be a report coming out. We have not seen that report, but once we get it, we are going to review it with the governing board to see what the governor has decided as far as what committees would still be available. We have Jack Seward and Sarah Burnt currently sitting on the MHDD commission as well. We're not really sure if that commission is going to continue, but we do have a lot of folks who advocate for us on the state level and in some of those advisory groups. We have several people who sit on children's advisory groups as well at the state level. So we are having a lot of those discussions at our children's advisories as well as our governing board meetings. Another thing we're advocating for is the increased rates. We're finding still that there are a lot of staff shortages with our providers. So we're still advocating that there be an increase in Medicaid reimbursement so that our providers are able to hire and sustain staff in those services that we need. That's been part of our difficulty in obtaining providers who are able to provide the level of services that we need for clients. Currently, Ryan and I are going to be working on another RFP because we are needing to stand up an assertive community treatment program on the eastern side of our region in order to meet the requirements that the region has of the services that we are required to have. We've been unable to stand those up because we haven't had providers who have answered our RFPs because of the inability to provide those services in our area. We're also going to be working on an RFP for additional beds for, we call them IRSH services, which are intensive residential service home services. Those are provided currently in Burlington. We have one of those homes, but with our population across the 13 counties, we are required to have, it looks like 9 beds. So we will be looking at adding 4 to 5 more beds in an IRSH home somewhere, probably in the western part of our region, since we already have an IRSH home in the eastern part of our region. And that would fulfill our requirements that we have as a region. So we'll be working on that here in the next month or so to get that RFP out. And it's budget time. So I know that the budget folks are working on our region budget. We are fully funded, if you remember, by the state of Iowa at this point. And we did have a substantial payback last year because we are required to reduce our carryover balance. I believe it's down to 5% for this year. So the things that are paid at the local level continue to be our administrative services for our staff, and that is it. We are maintaining our employer of records through the counties at this point. And so those will be the only thing that we will be budgeting for at the county level. All of the services and all the other administrative expenses will be completed through the budget process with the fiscal agent, which continues to be Des Moines County. Have any questions about what we've been up to, or?
I don't. No, we're good.
Good job.
Okay.
We won't even get to pick on you at budget time this year, will we?
No, not really. Tammy will submit all of the administrative salaries to our counties. She's working directly with the auditor systems.
Okay.
So that will probably come from her. But I can definitely go over those with you. But for Louisa County, it will only include Cindy's partial salary that's not general assistance. That will be included in MHDS. Yep.
All right.
And then I'll be down tomorrow for the CIT meeting at the jail.
At the jail.
I'll stop in and see Selena.
Okay.
Well,
Anxious to see ya.
well, have a Merry Christmas and we'll talk to you in a few months then.
Yes, sounds good. You guys have happy holidays.
You too, thank
Thanks,
you.
Bobby.
Bye. Well, Cindy, are you ready to give us your?
All right, for general assistance, in the office for November, we had 92 phone and 33 foot traffic. Then for the food pantry in November, 39 households were served. That was 125 individuals. We did have a December mobile food pantry. We had originally not planned to have one. We typically do not in December, but the food bank does deliver twice a month now to our county. And so they offered up a mobile food pantry. And so we held it last Wednesday. We did drop those numbers from 200 down to 150 household like box sets, and ran out by 2 o'clock. It was so overwhelming that now we know it's needed in December, and we'll keep it at the regular rate of 200. So it'll be back in January on the 24th at the Briggs Center. And then as for the community suppers, they do not hold one at the Methodist Church in November or December, but there will be the community Christmas meal on Christmas Day, next Monday. So that's open to the community. Anybody that doesn't have a place or, you know, has little family, whatever their need is, but they can go ahead and go to the Briggs Center between 11 and 12:30. There will be that meal happening.
How's that funded?
It's a committee and it's through donations. So, yeah, we don't have like any kind of fundraisers or anything like that. They'll put a bucket out and then people just donate, and that's sustained it so far through the years. So the Christmas wish tree, the angel tree program, that was over as far as families signing up on November 22nd. And we were able to serve 12 families. That was 25 kiddos. And so those gifts are mostly handed out. The rest of them will go out by Thursday of this week. And then the Christmas food baskets for Wapello, Oakville, and Grandview. We are serving 51 households at this point. We could add a few more. We have, I believe, 60 baskets purchased, so, or items for the baskets. And so we have this week, I know a couple clients have asked me about it. And so I said, just give me a call and we'll get them signed up if that is a need of theirs. So we'll do that. And then the last thing I want to mention is Community Foundation of Louisa County did give $5,000. They wanted to run it through my office for mental health funding for children under the age of 18, school children. Basically, when they go to appointments, anything mental health, it could be any kind of diagnosis, but there could be a transportation issue or a meal issue or education, medication. There may be a copay, counseling appointments, things like that. They may be not have Medicaid and they've applied, but they just haven't received it quite yet. Things like that. So they have put $5,000 in place into a fund to subsidize those types of things.
And that's the first year they've done that.
This is the very first time. Yep, they've seen the need in the school system and with children, and so they were just looking for a place to house those funds, and so they're putting the word out through the school system and running those funds through our office. So
excellent.
So yeah, if you hear of anyone or if they have any questions, have them give me a call. So
that's through the general assistance side.
It is running through the general assistance side. Yeah, even though it's mental health, it sounds like.
Did you reach out to them on it?
I did not. They reached out to me.
Oh.
Yeah, we ran pest control through them also. Like they funded that, and that was something I reached out to them for. And then yeah, they were just looking for a way to boost the mental health assistance here in the county.
And that stays in the county too. So
yes, exactly. Yep.
Excellent.
Any questions?
Cindy?
Yeah, Bobby.
Since you're administering those funds as well, I know I've sent out the information from DCAT. DCAT does provide some funding for some of those similar type services for children that runs through the region. So we have expended a lot of money because of the individuals who are being decertified on Medicaid. So we may have wait lists, but I definitely would encourage you to speak with Tammy when you have those requests to go, so that we are utilizing our funds through both of the programs efficiently.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I can do that. Ready? Any questions?
No.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
No, thank you for your update. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims for December 19th, 2023.
I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. No.
No,
Yeah, we're gone. Claims. Sean made the motion.
Thank you.
Yeah, the water bill's on the increase, so I never check and see if we got a leak somewhere. Hey, the Leland Macintosh, are we just gonna kind of? Yeah. Use that as informational and.
Gotta be done by tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have one person that comes to mind, but I'll talk to you about that later.
Okay.
Well, you all, for the for the conservation board, to let Joe know she's reappointed.
Yep. Do that. Expect her to be on. She didn't get on. I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay, all in favor, aye. Aye. Right. Thursday.